Right in the American heartland. In Minnesota, of all places, a massive betrayal of every single person who pays taxes in this country is being blown wide open. It's not just a budget leak, it's a gut punch. Kash Patel has officially touched down on the ground, and let me tell you, the fallout for this disaster isn't just going to be a slap on the wrist, it's going to be permanent. We're talking about a breakdown of the very systems meant to protect us, and now the bill is coming due. Think about this for a second. This started as a program to put food in the mouths of hungry, vulnerable kids. Instead, it mutated into the most disgusting, wide-scale violation of public trust and pandemic relief funds we've ever seen in the history of the United States. They called it the Feeding Our Future Initiative. It was supposed to be a lifeline, but it wasn't. It was a historic failure that's left a crater in the federal budget. We're looking at over $250 million just gone, vanished, siphoned off into a dizzying maze of shell companies and paper trails that lead to nowhere. Investigators started pulling the thread, and what did they find? They found names of children who didn't even exist. Think about the cynicism required to use software to generate fake kids just to keep the federal cash flowing into your own pockets. This wasn't some clerical error or a simple mistake. No, this was a calculated, coordinated hit on the very integrity of our social safety nets. While you were working hard to keep your head above water during the pandemic, these people were laughing all the way to the bank. The sheer balls on these guys, it's left the public absolutely reeling and demanding a total teardown of the current oversight mess. We're staring at a level of pure greed that traded kids' meals for luxury real estate and six-figure cars. And the crazy part? As the facts trickle out, we're realizing we've only seen the tip of the iceberg. FBI Director Kash Patel isn't just sending a memo. He's signaling a total war footing for the federal response. He's already flooded the zone, deploying a massive surge of resources directly into Minnesota. Why? Because he's vowing to hunt down and dismantle the networks that let this rot set in. Patel isn't mincing words here. He's telling everyone that the convictions we've seen so far are merely the tip of a very large iceberg. The Bureau is done playing small ball with local actors. They're following the paper trail across oceans and international borders. We are witnessing a massive, multi-front operation to figure out exactly how your tax dollars were moved into foreign bank accounts. Money that's likely being used to spark even more chaos elsewhere. The director is making one thing crystal clear. This was a direct attack on the trust of every single American citizen. By blowing the doors off the scope of this investigation, the FBI is looking to rip this scandal out by the roots. They're coming for every single person who helped facilitate this massive ethical disaster. No one gets to hide. No one is out of reach. That era of look the other way politics, it's officially dead. Or the people who thought they could scam the system and get away with it. The consequences are now becoming irreversible. The Department of Justice is shifting gears, moving toward a strategy of permanent, life-altering changes for those convicted. We're seeing a specific, hard-line focus on Somali nationals who were granted the privilege of American citizenship only to turn around and spit on it. They are now facing the very real prospect of denaturalization. The message coming out of this administration is as cold as it is firm. Citizenship is a sacred bond, not a free pass to fleece the country. If you participate in a massive legal breach against this nation, that bond is going to be severed. Period. We're talking about a process that leads to the immediate neutralization of their legal status, followed closely by a one-way ticket and deportation proceedings. This is a massive escalation in how the government deals with systemic failures inside immigrant communities. It's a warning shot. It's a deterrent. It's the government finally saying that American residency requires an absolute 100% commitment to the rule of law. Critics are shouting, supporters are cheering, but everyone is watching as these permanent procedures start grinding through the federal courts. This accountability phase, it's past the point of no return. But the FBI isn't just looking at the scammers. They're looking at the political swamp that let this crisis grow in the first place. Serious questions are being asked about just how close certain high-ranking officials were to the people now sitting in handcuffs. Pictures are everywhere. Prominent figures like Representative Ilhan Omar and Governor Tim Walz, caught in the frame with individuals right at the center of this scandal. Now look, no direct charges have been filed against these officials yet. But the public isn't stupid. They want to know how a $250 million heist happens right under their noses. There's an intense, growing anger in the local community because people feel like their leadership failed to guard the gates. Was it just incompetence, or was there a deeper political interest that led to a lack of oversight? Some are even calling it a form of conditioning, where investigators were basically told not to look too closely at certain groups for fear of being called names. This part of the investigation is high voltage stuff. It threatens to absolutely wreck the reputations of some of Minnesota's most powerful players. And frankly, it's about time someone asked the hard questions. So, where did that $250 million actually go? That's the multi-million-dollar question driving the current FBI operation. We're not just talking about local bank accounts anymore. Federal agents are currently untangling a web of transactions that snake all the way back to East Africa and beyond. We're talking about your tax money being used to buy up foreign property and build business empires in other countries. This isn't a Minnesota problem anymore. It's a full-blown international financial crisis. The FBI has now leaned forward with global partners moving to freeze these assets and claw back every cent they can for the American Treasury. The prosecution's goal is simple. Make sure these defendants don't have a single penny of their ill-gotten gains left. By cutting off the financial lifeblood of this legal breach, the government is trying to make sure no one else even thinks about trying this again. They're even checking to see if this money ended up in the hands of groups that threaten regional stability. The depth of this ethical rot is honestly shocking even the most jaded investigators as the global footprint of the money trail keeps getting bigger every single day. Make no mistake, this case is setting a brand new precedent for the whole country. It's the opening salvo against the culture of get away with it that's been rotting federal grant programs for years. The Trump administration is sending a signal that America First isn't just a slogan. It means protecting the resources that belong to American citizens. This isn't just about one scandal in the Twin Cities. This is about a nationwide neutralization of the gaps that let people rob us blind. Every single state is being put on notice right now. The federal government is done tolerating the systemic failure of local agencies to watch our money. Kash Patel taking the wheel at the Bureau is the ultimate sign that the era of soft enforcement is over. We're seeing a return to a firm, measured kind of justice, where if you break the law, the consequences actually match the crime. The whole point is to restore some shred of faith in the institutions that are supposed to serve us. The investigation is rolling on, and the message is staying the same. The law is the law, and the American taxpayer finally has someone in their corner. Looking ahead, the fallout from this Minnesota disaster is going to keep rippling through the legal and political world for a long, long time. In the coming months, expect more indictments, more high-profile trials, and even more ugly truths about how deep this failure really went. We have to stay sharp. We have to keep demanding transparency and real accountability from the people we elect. This is the ultimate moment of truth for our justice system. Does it have the guts to follow the evidence into the halls of power, no matter who is standing there? The work Patel and his team are doing is the first real step toward answering that. We're watching a permanent shift in how our government protects us from threats within our own borders. The road back to sanity is going to be long, and tearing down these corrupt networks isn't going to be easy. But the American people have a lot of resolve. We're going to make sure this kind of betrayal never happens again, and that justice, finally, actually means something. Keep your eyes on this, because this crisis is just getting started.